Okay, I want you to picture a scenario. And I'm betting that you have either lived this or you've had to buy drinks for a friend who is living this.
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
You meet someone, and on paper, they are spectacular, they have the job, they're kind to waiters, they call their mom on Sundays. They check every single box you think you have.
But
But nothing. No spark, no lightning bolt, just a very polite, flat line. And then, you have the flip side,
Mhm.
the person who drives you up a wall, who might actually be objectively bad for you, but the chemistry is so loud you can't hear yourself think.
The classic head versus heart dilemma.
Right. And usually the advice we get is you can't force it or, follow your heart. But today, we're doing a deep dive into a text from the Sabbath Marriage Institute that basically says that advice is garbage.
It is a bit aggressive, isn't it? We're looking at the mechanics of the heart, love versus attraction. And right, this is not the romantic advice you get in a rom-com. It's more like a technical manual.
A technical manual that argues we are running two completely different operating systems in our brains, love and attraction, and we're crashing our hard drives because we keep trying to run them like they're the same program.
That's the core of it, really.
Yeah.
We tend to use the words love and attraction interchangeably.
Yeah.
But this source argues one is a conscious, difficult discipline, and the other is a subconscious chemical reaction.
And if you mix them up, you're in for a world of hurt.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to answer the million-dollar question. Can you actually build love if that spark is missing? If I'm staring at Mr. Perfect on paper and feeling nothing, can I? Can I fix that?
Well, the text says yes, you can build it. But the how requires us to completely destroy the modern definition of love.
Okay, let's start there. Because when I first read the definition of love in this text, I actually recoiled a little bit. It didn't sound fun.
It's not designed to sound fun. It's designed to be functional. So the Institute defines love as the giving of affection, honor, and benefits in support of another's growth and divine destiny without taking away their sovereignty.
Wow, okay, that is a mouthful. Affection, honor, benefits. It sounds like an employee contract. And frankly, the text uses a specific word to describe affection that kind of made my skin crawl. It says we need to baby our partner.
I knew you were going to snag on that one. Babying sounds condescending, doesn't it?
It sounds like I'm dating a toddler.
Right, but look at the context the source provides. When they say baby, they aren't talking about competence. They're talking about grace.
Grace.
Think about an actual baby. If a baby spills milk, do you judge them? Do you say, wow, you're so clumsy?
No, of course not. You just clean it up.
Precisely. You overlook the error. You treat the mistake with kindness. The text argues that true affection is the conscious decision to treat your adult partner with that same level of non-judgmental grace.
So it's not about them being helpless. It's about me choosing not to be a critic.
It's a discipline. You are choosing to offer a soft landing. That's the first pillar. Then you have honor.
Honor is another one of those words we throw around. But the text gets really practical. It defines honor as letting them have a say in the governance of your affairs.
And this is where the rubber meets the road. Governance of affairs.
To be honest, this felt a little stifling to me. It sounds like I need a permission slip to live my life. If I want to go to the gym, do I really need to consult my partner?
It feels that way because we're so used to autonomy. But the text isn't suggesting you need permission to breathe. It's highlighting a shift in resources. When you're single, your time, your money, it's all yours.
Right.
When you love someone by this definition, you're acknowledging that your resources are now shared.
So it's not, can I buy this? It's more like, hey, I'm thinking of doing this, and because this impacts us, I'm bringing you in on it.
It's giving them a vote. It's saying, I value your input on my life more than I value my total independence. That is how you honor someone.
Okay, and the third pillar is benefits.
Which is pretty straightforward. Sharing your reputation, your home, your body, your forgiveness. Text actually frames forgiveness as a benefit of being with you. Like membership has its privileges.
Okay, so that's the engine. That's love. It's a behavior. But then we have the other operating system, attraction.
And this is where we get so confused. Because we think attraction is love, but the source is very clear. Attraction is just the motivation to love.
Motivation. So one is the job and one is the paycheck.
In a way, yeah. Think of attraction as the fuel. Love is the engine, the structure of how you treat someone. Attraction is the high-octane gas that makes running that engine feel easy. But here's the kicker.
What's that?
Love is a conscious choice. You can wake up today and choose to honor someone. Attraction, that is subconscious.
That's the part we can't control.
You cannot command your brain to release dopamine. That reaction is based on deep, often hidden programming memories, childhood experiences, safety archetypes.
The text calls this a data match.
It is. Your brain is constantly scanning people. Does this person match my internal template for safe? Does this person match my template for exciting? If the data matches, boom, you feel that spark. If it doesn't, you feel nothing.
This brings us to the whole idea of the type. We all have a type. And we usually think it's just a preference, like I like tall guys or I like funny women.
But the source goes deeper. It ties this to something it calls value hierarchies.
This is a fascinating concept.
It's the idea that your type is just a physical manifestation of what you value most in that moment.
They use a biblical example to explain this, Isaac and Rebecca. I always read that story as this kind of, destined romance, but the text breaks it down almost like an algorithm.
It does. So Abraham sends his servant to find a wife for Isaac. But the instruction isn't find the prettiest girl or the one with the best personality.
No, the instruction was about lineage. Go to my home country.
The value hierarchy placed origin at the very top. That was the non-negotiable.
Right.
So when the servant finds Rebecca and she fits that top-tier value, the text says Isaac loved her. The attraction followed the value alignment.
Okay, but let's bring that to the modern day. Most people aren't exactly looking for lineage.
No. Today, the source would argue, our hierarchies are often aesthetic. 6 feet tall, figure 8 shape, has a boat. If those are at the top of your pyramid, your subconscious will only release that attraction chemical when it sees those specific traits.
But here's where I get skeptical. Can we actually change that? I mean, I have friends who only date bad boys. They know it's bad for them, but they just aren't attracted to the nice accountant. Are they supposed to just settle?
The source argues that settling is the wrong word. It's about reprioritizing.
How so?
Think about that, friend. Why do they like the bad boy? Probably because at the top of their hierarchy is excitement, or maybe unpredictability. But let's say that friend gets their heart broken enough times. They get tired of the drama. Suddenly, peace or safety might move to the top of the list.
The hierarchy shifts.
And when the hierarchy shifts, the type shifts. Suddenly, the accountant isn't boring. The accountant is safe. And because the brain is now scanning for safety, the accountant triggers the dopamine. You aren't settling, you're just responding to a new set of values.
So if I'm not attracted to good people, it might be because I haven't actually decided that goodness is my top priority yet.
That's the hard pill to swallow. Your attraction is a mirror of your values.
Ooh. Okay, let's go back to our mission. I'm the listener. I'm dating someone who is good, kind, fits my new values, but the spark isn't there yet. The text suggests there's a back door to attraction. How do we open it?
You open it through the engine of love. This is the secret of, say, successful arranged marriages. You start by doing the behaviors. You give affection. You give honor. You give benefits.
Even if I'm faking it.
You aren't faking the action. You are performing the action. And here's what happens. Consistency creates safety. When you are consistently good to someone, their presence starts to signal safety to your subconscious.
And the brain likes safety.
The brain creates strong attachments to safety. The text argues that over time, you begin to ascribe beauty to the source of that safety. You actually start to see them differently.
Wait, so they physically start to look better to you?
Yes. You begin to project intelligence and beauty onto them because they make you feel at home. Attraction becomes a result of the love you invested, not the cause of it.
That's a really hopeful idea, that I can work my way into attraction, but I have to play devil's advocate here.
I always do.
The source also admits this is really, really hard. They talk about the boost. If we can build love without attraction, why do we crave it so much? Why does it feel so essential?
Because love the behavior is heavy. It costs you something. Remember sovereignty and honor.
The loss of freedom.
The transition from being single to being partnered is a massive loss of personal sovereignty. You lose your time. You lose financial autonomy. The text tells that story about the pastor in the golf clubs.
Yeah, tell that one, because that sounded painful.
It's a guy who loved golf. It was his thing.
Yeah.
But his wife felt neglected by how much time it took. So to honor her, to give her a vote in the governance of his affairs, he hung up the clubs. He quit.
That sucks. I mean, let's be real. That is a sacrifice.
It is a huge sacrifice, and that is why we need attraction. The source calls attraction the anesthetic. It's the boost. When you are crazy about someone, when the dopamine is flirting, you don't mind giving up golf. You don't mind the loss of freedom.
It's the spoonful of sugar that makes the medicine go down.
Exactly. Without attraction, the sacrifice feels like like a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It feels like duty. It feels heavy.
This makes the story of Jacob, Rachel, and Leah in the text so much more interesting because that is the ultimate A/B test of this whole theory.
It really is. You have one man, Jacob, and two wives.
Which, side note, creates plenty of problems on its own.
Plenty. But look at the mechanics. Jacob sees Rachel. Instant data match. High attraction.
High fuel.
So high that he agrees to work 7 years of hard labor just to marry her. And the text says the years seemed like but a few days because of his love for her.
That is the power of attraction. It warps time.
But then he gets tricked into marrying Leah.
Right. And he is not attracted to Leah. Zero spark.
So he's stuck in the same marriage contract. He has to provide for her, honor her, but he has no fuel.
Imagine the breakfast table. With Rachel, if she burns the toast, it's cute. With Leah, if she burns the toast, it's an annoyance.
Exactly. With Rachel, the loss of freedom feels like a gift. With Leah, it feels like a prison.
Because he's running the engine on empty.
He's pushing the car up the hill by hand. And that is the danger. The source isn't saying attraction doesn't matter. It's saying it makes the unbearable burden of self-sacrifice bearable.
Which explains why people say they fall out of love.
Yes, the text is adamant. You don't fall out of love because love is a choice. You fall out of attraction.
Because the traits that you were attracted to changed?
Or your values changed. The text uses very human examples. A man attracted to a specific body type, and his wife has 3 kids, and her body changes. Or a woman attracted to a provider, and he loses his job.
The data no longer matches the template.
The data mismatch stops the dopamine. The fuel line is cut. And suddenly, you're looking at this person and thinking, I don't want to honor you anymore. I don't want sacrifice for you.
And that's the moment. That's the fork in the road.
That is the moment where you have to switch to manual override. You have to decide, I am going to keep running the engine of love, affection, honor, benefits, even though the tank is dry.
And the hope is
What?
that the fuel comes back.
The hope and the promise of the text is that if you keep doing the works of love, you rebuild the safety. You might find a new reason to be attracted. Maybe you aren't attracted to their abs anymore, but you become attracted to their parenting or their wisdom.
You update the software?
You allow your value hierarchy to mature. If you can do that, you can get the spark back. But if you just sit there waiting for the lightning bolt to hit the same spot twice, you'll be waiting forever.
That is a much more active way to view relationships. It's scary, though. It puts the responsibility back on us. It's not magic. It's work.
It restores agency. You aren't a victim of your feelings. You're the architect of your relationship.
Before we wrap up, I want to circle back to one phrase from the very beginning. The definition of love ended with, without taking away their sovereignty.
I'm glad you brought us back there. That is the guardrail.
We talked about how love is giving benefits, but it's so easy to turn that into a transaction, right? I'll be nice to you if you do what I want.
That is the trap. We often use affection as a leash. I will give you honor, but in exchange, you must behave exactly how I want. The text calls that out. That isn't love. That's control.
And control is the opposite of sovereignty.
It is. The text implies that true love is supporting someone's divine destiny, who they are meant to be, even if who they are meant to be is inconvenient for you.
Even if their destiny involves playing golf.
Maybe. If you strip away their choice, you aren't loving a person, you're managing a possession.
Yeah.
And you can't have a relationship with a possession.
That's the final provocative thought I want to leave everyone with. If you feel like you're doing all the right things, but your relationship feels dead, ask yourself, are you loving them or are you just trying to control them?
Are you feeding them or are you trapping them?
Heavy stuff, but necessary stuff. This has been a fascinating look into the mechanics of the heart.
It's good to look under the hood.
Indeed. Go check your engine lights, everyone. We'll see you on the next deep dive.